You've been conditioned to believe that if you want her, you need to say something, compliment her, charm her, impress her. That attraction is built through tactics, routines, conversations. But the men she chases, the men she can tease, stop thinking about. They don't chase her first. They don't talk their way into desire. They stand in it. And Nietzsche understood why. He wrote about the will to power, not as dominance over others, but as mastery of self. That true strength doesn't beg. It doesn't explain. It doesn't ask to be seen. It radiates. And when a man radiates, not with loudness, but with quiet certainty, people feel it. Especially women, because women don't fall for noise. They fall for presence. The kind of presence that doesn't need validation. The kind of presence that makes a room pause without a word. And most men never learn this. They think attraction is in the words, but the words are nothing without the man behind them. And if that man is unsure, performative, needy, she feels it, no matter how clever he sounds. But when a man walks into the room with no need to be chosen, no need to entertain, no need to chase, she notices she has to, because he's not broadcasting, he's being. That's the man she can't predict, the man she can't quite read. And that ambiguity, that space, it activates her imagination. And desire lives in imagination. She starts to lean in, trying to solve the mystery, trying to feel his energy, trying to earn what he hasn't given away yet. That's the reversal. That's the pull. Not because you're playing games, but because you've learned that silence isn't weakness. It's control. That stillness isn't passivity. It's power. You don't need to say the right thing when your energy already said everything. You don't need to convince her you're the one, because she is already wondering why you're not trying to convince her at all. Nietzsche's dark confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about becoming so complete that you no longer reach for approval. You let people come to you, and if they don't, you remain unmoved, because you've tasted a truth deeper than desire. You're enough, even in silence. And that's the kind of man she Here's what most men don't realize. Attraction doesn't start when you move toward her. It starts when you don't. When you could text her but don't. When you could explain yourself, justify your silence, soften the space between you but you let it breathe. That's when her mind begins to race. That's when her curiosity kicks in. And if you've ever wondered why some men barely say a word and still capture a woman's full attention at because their silence doesn't feel like absence. It feels like presence. Nietzsche knew that the greatest power isn't in being understood. It's in being undeniable, even when no one understands you. Especially then, because once a man begins to chase understanding, he gives up his position, and women feel that shift. The moment your energy starts reaching out, needing, proving, pulling, you lose gravity. You stop being a presence and become a pursuer. And not because pursuit is always weak, but because most men do it from insecurity, not clarity. That's the difference. She doesn't want you to chase her to fill your emptiness. She wants to feel that you re-whole without her, and that choosing her is just that, a choice, not a compulsion. And when you stand in that energy, when your gaze is steady, your words few, and your body relaxed, she senses something ancient, something uncommon, something almost mythic. That's the Nietzschean Manda, one who creates meaning from within, not from her attention, not from anyone's reaction. And women respond to that not because it's manipulative, but because it's rare. Because so few men these days can sit in silence and still feel powerful. So few men can walk away without drama, detach without anger, remain calm in the presence of beauty. But that's the test. Can you hold your edge without needing to defend it? Can you want her without losing yourself? Can you be warm without being weak? Most men can't. Most men either fold or chase. But the man who does neither, who stays still, sharp, focused, that's the man who enters her psyche. That's the man she replays in her mind, not because he told her who he is, but because he made her feel it and left her wanting to know more. And in that wanting she begins to chase. Confidence like this doesn't happen by accident. It's not a mood. It's not fake calm. It's not pretending to be detached while secretly craving her reply. No, dark confidence is built. And it's built in the quiet places where no one's watching. It begins the moment you decide to stop chasing comfort. Nietzsche believed that the truly powerful man doesn't run from discomfort. He uses it. That's what detachment really is. Not a numb shield, but a clear decision to stop giving your energy to what doesn't serve your deeper self. And when you stop giving it away, to attention, to approval, to quick validation, something shifts. You become more magnetic, not because you're trying to be mysterious, but because you're no longer explaining your existence. Women feel that. She doesn't know why she's drawn in, but she is. Because most men are exhausted by their own overexposure. They talk too much. They talk too much, apologize too quickly, seek softness when they should stand still, but not you. You learn to sit with silence. You learn to let a message go unanswered. You learn to breathe through tension without fixing it, and suddenly, your energy speaks for you. She feels your edge, even when you're not near. She thinks about you, not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't say. And that gap, that absence, that's the space where desire grows, where her imagination fills in what your words never did. And every time she wonders about you, she invests more into the experience of you. This is the secret. The man who knows himself so deeply that he doesn't need to explain himself becomes unforgettable. He doesn't force connection. He creates the conditions where connection wants to happen, and he lets it come to him, not because he's passive, but because he's powerful. That's Nietzsche's dark confidence, the quiet belief that you are the prize. And when you truly believe that, not as a tactic, but as truth, she can feel it. She sees it in your posture, your gaze, your timing. You don't flinch. You don't push. You don't rush to fill the space. And that space becomes your weapon. Not through arrogance, through control. The kind of control that's rooted in inner order, not performance. The kind that makes her wonder what it would take to win you. Here is the paradox. The moment you no longer need her to want you, that S when she does, not because you're cold, not because you're una bailable, but because your energy says one thing louder than words ever could. I choose myself first, and that is rare. Most men crumble at the hint of feminine withdrawal. They panic, they overreach, they explain, they try to get back what was never fully theirs. But the man who stands still, the man who keeps his rhythm, keeps his pace, keeps his silence, that man is different. And Nietzsche knew exactly why. Because to truly become strong, a man must learn to be alone without feeling abandoned, to stand in his solitude and call it home. That's where confidence is born, not in crowds, not in compliments, but in the furnace of your own becoming, when no one claps, when no one texts back, when no one validates your worth, and you still walk tall, still breathe slow, still choose power over panic. That's not detachment, that's evolution. You stop chasing attention because you've tasted something better, inner peace. You stop trying to prove you're worthy of love, because now you embody it. And she feels that. She sees that you're not waiting to be chosen, you already chose yourself. And now, she doesn't know where she stands. You're not predictable, you're not reactive, you're not needy, you're centered. And that's what makes her move toward you. Because in a world full of men who collapse under beauty, she found one who stays grounded in the presence of it. She found a man who won't betray himself for connection, a man who can hold space without losing frame. And suddenly, the chase reverses. She leans in, she asks the questions, she follows your lead, not because you manipulated, but because you mastered. You mastered your energy, your silence, your choices. You became a man who doesn't need to be desired, and that's why he's desired most. That's Nietzsche's final lesson. He who commands himself commands the world. You don't need a million words. You don't need perfect lines. You just need you. Undiluted, unapologetic, unshaken. Because that version of you, that's the one she chased, long after everyone else fades.